I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. We're going to be taking a trip down Florida, and then we're going to swing over to Minnesota. Shiloh Hendricks arrested for calling a 5-year-old boy the N-word. Also, a woman has been arrested for having the S word with her stepson. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to all of my moderators. Now, we're always chopping it up about parents need to do a better job. Also, we're chopping it up about everything starts at home. And in these two cases, in my opinion, bad parenting has been displayed. And I'll tell you why. In the case of the stepmom, this is the stepmom. This is a picture of the stepmom. Now, the stepmom was actually caught by her husband, which is the son's father. The dad came home, I believe, early from work, or the dad came home from work, and the two was on the couch with no clothes on. Now, the dad didn't report it. So it is definitely bad parenting on the dad's part. Now, I know many might say, well, Shank, he was a 15-year-old boy, and, the dad, was probably like, upset. But at the same time, it's not like the dad caught the daughter on the couch with a man naked. He caught his son. But the son is still a minor. The son is 15 years old. The dad was supposed to have reported the incident. Now, on the second one, with the woman out there in Minnesota that called the 5-year-old boy the N-word, it's definitely bad parenting on her end, because as y'all can see, she has a child. She has her child there. Now, allegedly, the 5-year-old boy stole something, took something from the other little boy that wasn't his, and so the mom used the N-word. That's bad parenting on the mom's part, because that little boy or girl, that child she's holding, is definitely going to grow up. And we know racism starts at home. The majority of racist people, it started at home. So now we see how this mom carried that situation. So we can only imagine how mom is carrying other situations pertaining to race-related issues. Let me jump to my chat, y'all. Let me jump to my chat real quick. Get my chat involved. Salute Novi. Top Flight. Top Flight says, Shank, my funky, you know what, made it home. Congratulations, Top Flight. Congratulations. Top Flight has made it home from the hospital safe, y'all. Salute Constance. Salute Constance. I'ma salute Tammy, Sages, Marie, New York City girl, Cali girl, April, Marianne. I see you, Marianne. Eartha. I think I got everybody. Salute everybody. I'll get back down there to the chat. Salute. How do y'all feel about this? How do y'all feel? If you caught your 15-year-old son on the couch, naked, with a grown woman, would you report it to the cops? How would you have handled this situation? The men and the women both can weigh in on this. But as a father, if there's any fathers that's listening to this, how would you handle this situation? You come home from work, you see your 15-year-old son on the couch, naked with your wife, but you had reported it. Now for the moms, same question. If you found out that your 15-year-old son was having relations with the dad's stepmom, which y'all had reported it. Salute, Cotan. Nova says, I'm at work in the bushes. Tammy says, reported it. Tammy says she definitely would have reported it. Karen says, I'd be in jail. What goes? I'm always trying to figure out. Salute, positive vibes. What goes through these women minds? Of course, I'm not a woman, so I don't know. But ladies, if y'all can help me out with this, what goes through these women minds when they have inappropriate sexual relations with these teenagers? Can somebody help me understand that? She lost her nursing certificate, nursing license. You know, is it some kind of fetish? I don't know. Do you think it was a fetish? Salute, Nisha. Let's chop it up. Salute, Miss T. Jordan says, can't tell you because my brain don't go there. Positive says, I think it's the thrill of having power of the young boys. And it seems like that's go both ways, because I know when I throw that question out there for the men, like what will make a man? What will make a man want to inappropriate touch a young girl? And it's the same answer. It's a power. It's a power thing. I don't know, because I'm not into that type of tea. I feel you, April. I feel you. But I heard I heard this one content creator, and he was trying to put the blame on the actual 15-year-old boy, you know, as saying, you know, he didn't stop her. I'm sure he had to be enjoying it because he didn't stop it. Karen says she was watching that baby grow up. She's sick. Salute, Shari. Let me explain something to y'all. As much as most 15-year-old boys, because I got to keep it real, when I was 15 years old, sure I had fantasies of older women. Sure, me and my buddies used to chop it up all the time about being in sexual relations with older women. Sure. But by us being minors, by us being underage, if a grown woman, if a woman that's an adult, she still had the responsibility of not allowing it to happen. No grown woman, no adult should be inappropriate touching a 15-year-old boy. And this is what we mean about everything starts at home. What are the parents teaching these children? What are the parents allowing these children to get away with? Now, Pops didn't report it. So I'm thinking, well, maybe Pops probably looking at it like it's his son. Like I said, he's upset a little bit. He might be mad, but that's his son. You know, I doubt if Pops was mad at the son. Pops was probably cheering on the son. Like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You done what any man was supposed to do. But once again, that's true but the son wasn't a man. Jordan says, Lord, don't ever let me walk in on something like this because I'm going to jail, probably 25 to life. Salute, Lisa. April says, is the father being charged as well because he needs to be? Let me run to this clip, y'all. Let me grab a clip real quick. Give me a second, y'all. Let me take a commercial break, y'all, and I'm going to come right back. Let me take a commercial break. For all of y'all out there that got a main chick and a side chick, back in the days, you used to have to worry about the side chick popping all up at your job, stalking you when you go home, worrying about the side chick calling the house, worrying about the side chick posting pictures of y'all on social media. Well, guess what, fellas? You ain't got to worry about the side chick. I'm going to put some almond milk in it. Fellas, you ain't got to worry about the side chick acting up. You got to worry about, these my chia seeds. You got to worry about your main chick taking your side chick from you. All right, y'all. Let's let it grind. Delicious. That's probably the best smoothie that I've made thus far. For more smoothie talk with Shank, make sure y'all subscribe to my Smoothie Talk with Shank channel. I dropped the link down there. I dropped the link. For more Smoothie Talk with Shank, make sure y'all subscribe to the Smoothie Talk with Shank platform. So, what would make this woman inappropriate had relations with her stepson? Some of y'all say, Shank, she been watching that little boy ever since he was a little boy. Right? I think I got one. Let's see what we got here. All right, I got it, y'all. Let's see. All right. All right, here we go, y'all. Let's tap into this.
Anything and everything. And, you know, even Howard Stern on his radio show talks about his proclivity towards stepmom or stepdad porn. And that's exactly kind of what played out here. I don't know that one caused the other, but certainly our children are able to mature and know things. Even reading the affidavit here, you want the 15-year-old to be innocent, but the way that he was operating, clearly, even though allegedly he was a virgin, he moved in a way that seemed to be experienced.
Did y'all hear what he said? Lisa says, Shank, I'm making a smoothie with sea moss and fruits and spinach. I know that's a good one. I know that's a good smoothie, Lisa. But did you hear what my man said? The way that the 15-year-old was moving and he wasn't a V. And I mean, come on, dude. Come on. Come on. As much as I said before, as much as when I was 15 years old, I would have loved to have been in situations like this. It's still wrong. The stepmommy had no business taking advantage of that boy. Shari says, this world is getting more and more wicked. Jordan says, that's no excuse. Saja says, wait, she couldn't get anyone of her age to engage in such act. A lot of people are sick. It's only a few that are admitted at the hospital. She posed to admit herself immediately. That's what I'm saying. Like, look, I'm not saying don't get down for the get down. I'm just saying leave the minors alone. Leave these kids alone. Abel says it still doesn't make it right. Salute, brother Nazir. Salute, Tyson. Noor Talk says, but she was the adult and the stepmother. Facts. That's facts.
Well, he's a minor, though. That's the problem. And there's no really any such thing as consent when you're dealing with a minor. So let me amplify that a little bit. Let me explain a little bit more of the circumstances of this case. So I want to talk about this alleged incident between Yates and her 15-year-old stepson, 15 years old. So Yates has been married to the boy's father for 6 years. This is according to social media posts that were reviewed by the outlet Ocala News. The teen was apparently visiting his father in Florida in 2024 for summer break. Now, according to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, an anonymous tip came in on July 30th, 2024, saying that a man had walked in on his wife and son having sex. Okay, so detectives brought in the child victim for what's called a forensic experiential trauma interview at a child advocacy center to try to get to the bottom of what happened. Let's just stop right there. John, how are those interviews typically conducted?
Very sterile. You know, you have somebody that's experienced with child trauma who conducts an interview. You know, typically you're looking at younger victims than this, so they're trained to handle things very delicately. You know, this one read very interesting because again, you're dealing with a teenage boy here, and there's some parts of it that he even, apparently one of the interviewers was a female and even apologized to the female because the female interviewer, law enforcement agent, that he was having to use these words describing oral sex and going into great detail. The affidavit goes into tremendous detail.
Oh my gosh. What the teen reportedly said was just chilling and disgusting, to say the least. I mean, he apparently revealed that his dad worked late nights as a lineman, and he was staying with his dad, stepmom, 2 younger half-siblings as part of this summer vacation. According to the arrest affidavit, on the night of the incident, Yates had put the youngest children to bed and then started playing a video game or video games and watched a movie with this 15-year-old. And he claims that she let him use her THC vape pen. Now, around 1 a.m., they both apparently decide they're bored with watching the movie that they're apparently they're watching, which is when the teen claimed that Yates started making these inappropriate sexual comments, including allegedly that she was horny and hadn't had sex in 2 weeks.
Wow. Let me grab the chat. Noah Talk says, but she was the adult and the stepmother. Tyson says, this type of stuff happening more often these days. Brother Nazir says, nah, no excuses accepted. Leave the children alone. This woman is just as much of a predator as anyone else who does such heinous acts. That's facts. Tyson says stepmom was grooming him. Yeah, that's what that was. The stepmother was grooming him. Jordan says, Tyson, you ain't lying. Every morning when I turn the TV on, my brain says, what the F? Tammy says she should be ashamed of herself. Karen says they must have watched That's My Boy. Something like that, y'all. Something.
Now, the teen told the interviewer that Yates had been making sexual jokes in front of him for approximately a week leading up to that night. According to the arrest affidavit, he also disclosed that he hadn't had any sort of sexual experience before and was essentially, I think it's fair to say, based on the characterization, maybe infatuated with Yates. So, John, let's stop again. If this is all true, would this classify as grooming, taking part in something the teen likes, the video games, giving the opportunity to partake in intoxicating substances, slowly introducing him to sexual ideas? Does that seem like a classic grooming accusation?
It does, because there's like a golf cart trip with.
I'm going to say this, y'all. I'm going to say this, and we're going to move on and come back. This is bad parenting. This is bad parenting. Tyson says, now that boy could grow up and do that to other kids. Facts. Brother Nazir says she did more than groom you know what. Shari says, I agree. She probably been grooming him so sick. Tyson says, absolutely, it's grooming. This is bad parenting on a stepmommy, a stepdad, because this is a stepmom. So for a stepmom, this is definitely bad parenting. No way around it. April says, with everything going on in the world, people need to start talking to their kids about good touching, and bad touching. I agree with you, April. Constance says, she just nasty. No different than any other predators. Facts. No Talk says, stepmom is a nurse. My goodness. Don't trust her ass nowhere, not even in a hospital. Exactly. We don't know. When we go into these doctor offices, when we go out into the world in general, we don't know who we are coming in contact with. And most of the times, I'm going to say the majority of the times, it's those that have degrees. It's those that have certificates, license. It's those that you can't trust that hold these type of positions. Brother Nazir says that happens a lot in New Jersey. Females taking advantage of young boys. Jordan says, I wonder if this is her first minor. Good question, Jordan. Good question. The father must be hurt and in a rage. I hope he pressed charges and she loses her career and gets jail time. The father didn't even report it, Tyson. The father didn't report it. Salute, Phoenix. Appreciate you for pulling up. We're going to swing from down Florida and we're going to take a trip over to Minnesota. I'm sure that you all have heard about the story that's coming out of Rochester, Minnesota, with the woman using the N-word when talking to a 5-year-old boy. Now, before we get into it, this is the cameraman. This is the cameraman in that video. All right. Now, they've went as far as digging up the cameraman's background. Cameraman was previously arrested for sex abuse of a minor. In my opinion, this don't have nothing to do with what this woman has done. Now, this story gets even deeper. it goes deeper than them pulling the cameraman's background. What do the cameraman background got to do with what she done? But see, this is the society that we live in. The society that we live in, whenever certain people do things, they always try to find a way around it. I wouldn't care what that cameraman done in his past. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the cameraman is not the one that's on camera using the racial slur against that little boy. So the cameraman is irrelevant. Now, we're going to go deeper because as of today, she started a GoFundMe account. Now, this is how deep racism exists. And I know a lot of people would like, particularly for Black people, to just let go of the racist and racism issues. But how can we let go as a Black person? How can we let go when in the year 2025, a white woman feels the need to use the N-word when referring to a little 5-year-old Black boy? Not only did this white woman use the N-word towards a 5-year-old Black boy, she has raised over $600,000 on her GoFundMe account. Where did the $600,000 come from? I'm going to tell y'all where the $600,000 in her GoFundMe account came from. It came from racist people. You can bet that. How is it that in this country, how is it that those that do wrong get more support than those that do right? Can somebody help me understand that part? I'll ask the question again. How is it in this country that those that do wrong get rewarded more than those that do right? Now, this is definitely a case of bad parenting. Her reason for calling the little boy the N-word was that the little boy stole something from her child. Here's how she should have resolved that issue. She definitely shouldn't have used the N-word. She's teaching her child that using the N-word is okay, which in my opinion is negative. She's traumatizing the little 5-year-old boy. It's a difference. And I know many people will say, but Shane, what's the difference between a white woman using the N-word when referring to a Black kid? What's the difference from Black people using the N-word? Black people have been beaten. Black people have been programmed using that N-word. When we call each other the N-word, it's not offended. It's not offensive. Why? Because we understand. We know what it means, even though we know that it's an ignorant word, but it's nothing behind it. If I say, what's up, my N? And another brother say, what's up, my N? We're not being offensive towards each other. However, when a white lady in this particular incident, she used the N-word as some kind of superior inferiority. She used it in, and y'all gonna have to help me out with my words. She used it in a defamatory language. I hope I pronounced that right. Because when we go back, and even today, but let's just go back to when we were first called that N-word. there was so much hate coming from white folks by using that N-word. Now, as a white person, if you grew up around black people, because there's some situations like this. Some white people have grew up around black people. Some black people don't get offensive to those white people that grew up around them. However, some white people still don't use that word. Some white people will be like, yeah, we cool and everything. We best of buddies. And even though you don't mind me using the N-word, I'm still not going to use it. But in some incidents. Now, if we sitting up here and if we're chopping it up, if we're having a discussion about the N-word and a white person was to use N-word and they're defining it, then that's not a defamatory way, or that's not a racist way. But in this incident, that N-word that was used by the woman definitely was used in a racist terminology. She claims that he stole something. Okay, at 5 years old, we all know at 5 years old, that child don't know right from wrong. And I'm always quick to talk about kids knowing right from wrong. But at 5 years old, he don't know right from wrong. At 5 years old, somebody has to teach him right from wrong. And as a parent, that's when you were supposed to have stepped in and you were supposed to have taught him about how it's wrong to take from others. That's what you were supposed to have done. And you could have done it. You could have done it without using the N-word. If it was the shoe on the other foot, and if it was a white child and took from a black person, how would the white people feel if that black parent used the C word? Let me jump to the chat. Salute Tanja. Salute Tanja. Because Shank, the world is sick and demented. Because this country was built on wrongdoings, the cycle continues. Reese says big difference, huge difference. The 5-year-old is special needs as well. She raised that money because she's scared and feared for her life. Oh, well, she should have kept her mouth closed. He didn't take anything. The kid didn't mean harm. I agree with you on that, No Talks. I agree with you. Shari says, right, Mr. Shank. I'm white, grew up around both, dated multiple races, had a relationship with a black man for 20 years, and I still couldn't and not okay with using that N-word in any context. And majority of white people, that's just where they're at. You know, they know what the N-word stands for. They know the origins of that N-word, and just out of respect. Now, I have to say this, I have to make this a public announcement. And this is just my belief. I could be wrong. I believe that we can feel how we want to feel. I believe that a person can be racist if they want to. If you want to be racist towards another race, that's fine, if that's your belief. But I have a problem when you perpetrate things, when your actions is what I'm trying to say. You know, when your actions make you, in this case, make bad decisions based on race. That's all I'm saying. You know, feel how you want to feel. Think how you want to think. Believe how you want to believe. But don't let your beliefs have you attacking other races just because of their race. I hope I said that respectfully, and I hope I said that so everybody could understand where I'm coming from. Kids these days on this trend thinking it's okay to throw it around nowadays, and it drives me absolutely insane. My 18-year white son tried to say it once in my house, and I lost my you know what and had a long talk. And I'm glad that you were able to have a long talk with him, because it's not a good thing. It's not right. You know, that N word, I wish that we all could get it out of our vocabularies. I really do. Her child probably stole before and wanted to take it out on him. Good point. Good point. Now, it has been reported. It has been reported. And I'm going to read to you all what the police are saying about it. Drop a one in the chat if you feel like this mother should be arrested and face hate crime charges. Drop a one. Drop a two if you feel like, nah, she shouldn't be arrested. She shouldn't be charged with anything, Shank. So drop a one if you feel like she should be arrested and charged with a hate crime or a hate speech. Drop a two if you say, nah, I don't agree, Shank. I see some ones. I see a lot of ones down there. I see some ones. Child abuse even. Eartha says, Shank, this world is crazy and you know what up. Yeah, it really is. We live in that kind of world now. You know? And Tyson says a 3. Tyson put up the 3. Oh, here we go. I'm coming, y'all. Let me grab it from Facebook. Y'all ain't nothing on this one. Mari Gemini says, Shank Rock, it's disgusting. I'm Native American and Caucasian. We have all heard how horrific many were treated in history. It's 2025. There's no excuse for this level of stupidity. Love to all. I appreciate you, Maris, and I agree with you. Brother Nazir says she should be arrested with a $600,000 bail. How about that, Brother Nazir? How about that? Arrest her and give her a $600,000 bond. How about that? Lisa says, Shank, my grands are biracial. We have white, all black, and Spanish, and they have their conversations about race, and they will take up for each other if needed. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, Lisa. Stacy dropped the 1. I see the ones. Jordan says, no bail. Top Flight says, I just came back and I don't know what happened, but I'm back. I'm black and Creole. She should lose her job, fine, and have to do community service in the urban community. That would be a good punishment, to do community service in an urban community. No Talk says she should be charged with hate speech, period. I do believe that she should be charged with hate speech. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Let me grab this. Make sure y'all subscribe to the backup channel. Smoothie Talk with Shank Rock. Here we go.
That little kid, you call him the little child?
What if he acts like one? It's gonna
Are you about to hit him? You're chasing him?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
The fact check.
Now that's just bad parenting. And she even gave the I don't give a ish. I don't give a ish. Wow. Wow. Karen says she should give the little boy the GoFundMe money. She really should. I mean, and I'm sure that they won't, but I'm curious to find out how the little boy feels about this. Curious to find that out. Brother Nazir says the child more than likely seen a toy and like any child would do, picked it up and started playing with it. He didn't steal anything. Exactly. And most children do that. At 5 years old at the park, most children do that. Tyson, imagine she works with other people who are from different ethnic backgrounds.
Karen calls an autistic black kid 5 the N-word at a playground.
You call him a child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say. Somebody dig into your shit.
A little kid just did.
That little kid, you call him the little child?
What if he acts like one? It's gonna
Are you about to hit him?
So she says if he act like one, then that's how she's going to treat him. I'm glad that the cameraman was there because we know if nobody had recorded this, who would have believed that she said it? You know, Tyson says just like DUI classes, when you get caught like this using racial slurs, you should have to take history classes on the people you're talking about. I agree. I tell my kids, if you don't want to share your toys, don't bring them to the park. In my field, I have always had white clients. I have had to educate them on black people. They now have a better understanding because of their upbringing. And in most cases, as white people, if y'all would just take the time out and educate yourselves and educate other white people around you, because most of the times that's the problem. And we run into white people all the time that say growing up, they were raised a certain way. Growing up, they thought a certain way, but when they got out in the real world and when they got around black people, they had an opportunity to learn and understand the black struggle. Mary says the gentleman recording handled that a lot calmer than I would have. Shaking my head, my heart breaks for that 5-year-old child. Exactly, Jordan. I taught my children to share. Absolutely appalled and stunned. She's talking like that with her child right on her hip. What do you know what? Yeah, that's bad parenting all the way. He acted like a little boy. She only accused him of stealing it because he was of color. Shaking my head. Good point. Does anyone know if the 5-year-old parents were around? I'm not sure. I in one breath, I was hoping that the parents was around, but then in another breath, I'm glad that the parents wasn't there. And if they was there, I'm glad that they just remained silent. Because, you know, if the parents would have reacted in a physical manner, then it would have really got blown the other way. And the first thing folks would have been saying was, yeah, she may have called the child the N-word, but the parents didn't have to react that way. So I'm not sure if the parents were there or not. Woo-wee. Why I never see things like this happening? Baby, I'll give her what she wants. I say it all the time. Why it don't happen to me? Why I ain't around when things like this happen? She uses that word on a regular basis. Cheryl says BS. It's ignorant when you don't want to take the time to unlearn your ignorance. My little grands 2, 3, and 5 pick up everything. That's not stealing. Happy Tuesday. Salute New York City girl. This woman is a disgrace and get rewarded for calling a kid an N-word. Yeah, she raised over $600,000. She raised over $600,000. Man, she too much. Who was watching the 5-year-old boy? Not sure. Constance says 100 Shank. And she down in Rochester, where Mayo Clinic and Hospital is located, not even remotely close to an all-white community. The nerve of that woman. Tyson, he could have been at a park with a babysitter or daycare. Brother Nazir says her child will grow up to be just like her. Most racist white men were raised by racist white women. Good point, brother. How do we get that little boy his money? It's time to pay. That's too much. I'm going to go to the what the police are saying, y'all, and then we're going to get out of here. I'm going to go to what the police are saying. Give me a minute.
You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
There y'all have it. If that's what he's going to act like, and then she says she don't give a ish. Wow. She set the GoFundMe up because she says she's in fear of her life. And ever since this hit social media, her life has been upside down. So that's what she's asking for. The 500. I mean, that's what she was asking for the GoFundMe, and she's raised over $600,000. Give me a minute, y'all. Let's see. So it says the NAACP branch in Rochester, Minnesota is calling for an investigation after a white woman repeatedly said the N-word at a park. The woman, who is seen in a viral clip, is holding her child while she's confronted by an adult who called her out for saying the N-word to a black child at the park. The woman, who has identified herself on Christian crowdfunding service Give Send Go as Shiloh Hendricks, has raised money for support, as the Minnesota Star Tribune reported. Hendricks claims to be the white woman in the video. It says, as a concerned man at the park recorded the white man and asked her why she said the N-word to a black child off camera, she responded by putting up her middle finger and repeated the racial slur. We saw all of that in the video I just showed you. Let me scram down to the actual police report. So the police has issued a report saying that they take matters like this serious. There is an ongoing investigation. They're asking that the people have patience. They do say an arrest is likely coming. They haven't listed what charge. They haven't listed when this arrest will be taking place. However, they do say that an arrest will be coming. Let me jump back to the chat and then we're going to get out of here. Tammy says, so how do you act like a N-word? I'll wait. Because the last time I checked, not only black kids still, if y'all want to use that word, children of all races still, but let's put it in its proper perspective. Not only do a 5-year-old black child take something that doesn't belong to them, I'm sure any 5-year-old child of any nationality has taken something that didn't belong to them. Jordan says, hiding behind the church. Tyson says, she's a Christian, shaking my head. And y'all know what? I'm not even going to ride down on the Christians today. I'm going to give the Christian folks a pass. All right. But she claims to be a Christian. Salute something sweet. And this is why I say good Christians have to call out bad Christians. I'm going to leave it there. Because if she is a Christian, it makes you wonder, are all Christians like this? Salute, Leisure Lady. Lisa says, if that would have happened here in northeastern PA, it wouldn't be easy for her here. This town has a lot of biracial families. Shout out to all of the biracial families and children. Shout out to all the interracial family and children. We live in the year 2025. My opinion, you date who you want to date. You have a family with whomever you have a family, whomever you choose to have a family with. I feel like if there's love, I feel like if the two people love each other, I do feel like in the year 2025, I feel like you should be able to date outside of your race. Now, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. If there's love, if you can find happiness, peace, and love with a man or a woman outside of your race, go for it. If she felt like her life was in danger while continuing to say it, and you know what, why fear for your life now? She wasn't thinking about that at the time. Not at all. Not at all. Christians, BS, appears to be on some smoke, right? She could have been just throwing that out there that she a Christian. That GoFundMe should go to that little black boy for his hardship, trauma, pain, and suffering from this hot, you know what, woman, Mayo woman. She ain't no Christian. Susie says she ain't no Christian. She a bad Christian. Minnesota don't want no problems. They going to charge her. And I hope that the state of Minnesota, I hope that the city of Rochester, I hope they do the right thing and charge this woman with at least a hate speech crime, at least, because it's definitely a hate speech crime. Don't use words that you don't know or understand the definition. Right. Now, I done seen a lot of videos where white women use that N-word and they got the brakes beat off of them by a black woman. And y'all got to be careful as white women. It's a little different. You know, well, it's really not a different because I've seen videos where white men call black men the N-word and got the brakes beat off of them. But as a white woman, here's some advice. And please take my advice. As a white woman, please do not use that N-word. Definitely don't use that N-word out in public. And most and foremost, do not call nobody black the N-word. Because somewhere it's a black woman that's waiting to beat the brakes off of you. All right? She must not have been around during the riots after George Floyd. I agree. Happiness does not have a color. Christian is a title. The life you live defines that title. Say it again, Novi, for the people that's in the back. Say it again for the people that's in the back. Christian is a title. The life you live defines that title. God ain't pleased with her on that. She knew she was wrong for doing that. Marty with the mess says, I have something to tell you and Miss Parker. It's very important. I can't find your Facebook page. Another child is speaking out in Detroit about abuse. Do you have an Instagram account, Marty? If you got an Instagram account, Marty, follow me on Shank Rock. My Instagram is Shank Rock. Or if you're not on Instagram, how can I get in touch with you, Marty, with the mess? Salute, Jaquetta. Salute, Thankful. No Talk says, that's right. Please don't try me, try God. She thought about it after she realized she was being filmed and it went viral. Her punishment will be her son growing up and having biracial kids with black women. Yes, sir. Calm. Right, Tyson. And it happens. It happens. When y'all, on that racist type stuff, white people be on that racist type stuff, their daughters grow up to date black men. Their sons grow up to date black women. Because as I said before, now we can't help how we are raised. But once we get out into the real world, even for black people that might be racist, even for Hispanics, for any nationality that may be racist, that may have been taught that way, when they get older and they get out in the real world, when they go away to school, when they get these jobs, when they get around people of other nationalities and they see, my parents were wrong about you and your kind. I was wrong about you and your kind. To me, before you dislike a people because of their race, before you dislike a people because they don't share the same religious views that you share, to dislike a group of people because of their political parties, first, get a chance to know the people. Get a chance to know that person. And always remember, one person from a racial group, one person from a religious or political group does not define that group of people, that race of people. One bad apple, we got to remember, one bad apple, we got to take that apple out of the basket. We can't let one bad apple spoil it for the others. I know that's right. And we're going to get out of here, y'all. She said she didn't give her, keep that same energy. Right. Because like I said, when you push up on a black woman hear you using that N-word, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. A black woman will beat the brakes off a white woman that used that N-word. She needs to stand on what she said. Don't fear now. I am the one that's been emailing you for Miss Parker. All right, I got you, Marty, with mess. I got you. I get so many emails and I get so many DMs. I'll respond back to your email. All right. I got you, Marty, with the mess. I'm going to take this last comment, then we're going to get out of here. I put in your inbox on IG. All right, I got you, Marty. we all need to know that this word means king or queen. Read more and don't look at them. Acknowledge it and keep going. Call them you know what or you know what. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. I will leave the chat running and y'all can hang around. Salute. I will see everybody later on. Make sure y'all have subscribed to my Smoothie Talk with Shank. If y'all want to get the latest smoothie that I've made, y'all subscribe to my Smoothie Talk with Shank. I also give relationship tips as well. All right. So subscribe to the Smoothie Talk with Shank, and I'll see everybody on the next demonstration. I will drop the link to the channel, the Smoothie Talk with Shank. Salute everybody. I'll leave the chat running. Y'all out there that got a main chick and a side chick. Back in the days, you used to have to worry about the side chick popping all up at your job, stalking you when you go home, worrying about the side chick calling the house, worrying about the side chick posting pictures of y'all on social media. Well, guess what, fellas? You ain't got to worry about the side chick. I'm gonna put some almond milk in it. Fellas, you ain't got to worry about the side chick acting up. You got to worry about, these my chia seeds. You got to worry about your main chick taking your side chick from you. All right, y'all. Let's let it grind. Delicious. That's probably the best smoothie that I've made thus far.